Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Lots of activity on Twitter, lots of discussion thanks to this article from crypto media outlet You Today, which is titled XRP Will Never Cost a Fortune. Crypto trader says, but community thinks otherwise. Yeah, well, it's all relative as to what a quote-unquote fortune is and costing a fortune. But as a member of the XRP community, I'll say, yup, I definitely think otherwise. So I'm going to talk about that, and I want to, you know what this got me thinking about, and I want to share some thoughts with you. It got me thinking about what is the crypto asset class going to look like, and the price of XRP. What's it going to look like as the asset class just matures as a whole? And so I want to give you some just kind of food for thought. I want to show you what the price of gold has been historically over the last 100 years, because that's a very mature asset class, and I want to take a 100-year look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average also. It's kind of interesting. I actually I did more research than I thought I would heading into this. Looking at this, my brain started moving. I started thinking, okay, well, what is this going to look like? And people are, there's these big theoretical prices of XRP, this or that. Is it attainable? How? Because right now, understand that the price of XRP, it's gotten up to almost $4 per XRP purely on speculation when most of the world has no clue about it. So sometimes when I hear these big numbers, I think when people say, no, that's not possible, and I just want to say, are you sure? Because it depends to the degree to which a cryptocurrency is adopted, and as more individuals find out about it and invest, all bets are off. But before going any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, and perhaps you even think that XRP could be quote-unquote worth a fortune, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's the mooniest, Lamboiest channel on all of YouTube, whatever the hell that means. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm done saying dumb stuff, at least for the moment. While many individuals in the Ripple community, this should say XRP community, but whatever, the Ripple community hope that the day when the XRP price will skyrocket is approaching with every new breath. Oh yes, bated breath. Oh, XRP price. Oh, XRP price. There are those who believe that this will never happen. Recently, You Today reported about a talk between crypto traders in which they discussed the massive hopium people have a chance to retire with one Bitcoin or one XRP or one ETH in the future. Yeah, I don't know about retiring with one XRP ever, okay? You're going to have a pretty low bar. Even if it had $10,000, I don't think people are going to retire on a $10,000 XRP. I'm just saying. Now, one of these traders is bashing those who hope that one XRP will be worth $10,000 one day. And there's a subheading here: one XRP will never cost a fortune. Crypto trader at BTC Macro has tweeted that those who dream of waking up rich one day holding one XRP are greatly wrong. While $10,000 is not a problem for Bitcoin, as everyone has already seen it a few times, this crypto expert states that despite all milestones that Ripple has achieved or will achieve in the future, one XRP will never be worth the same as Bitcoin on its way up. Well, look, in terms of dollars, it depends. Okay, so let's assume, I gotta make some assumptions here. If that's the case, let's say that we're living in a world where Bitcoin really does perpetually exist forever, and humans continue to invest in it for as long as the internet exists, and let's say that happens for XRP as well. Okay, fine, because there are 47 or so times as many XRP drops as there are Bitcoin Satoshis, so okay, I can believe that. That makes sense. That's not too wild. But then here, so it seems that the trader has chosen an exaggerated XRP price for those retail investors who put way too much faith in their XRP holdings. I love the short-term mindsets here. I'll tell you though, if Bitcoin doesn't have staying power, I'm sorry, XRP will pass you as it's rising in terms of market cap as Bitcoin falls, unless it actually gets adopted for some use at some point in the future, which I'm skeptical about. So there's a tweet from Bitcoin Macro on the screen, and then check out this though. Here's another subheading: the community expects an XRP price to rise soon. An XRP fan at Kevin Dixon has posted a screenshot of the chart which shows he believes that XRP is being accumulated before a price surge, a classic scheme he has right there. And indeed, there is a chart on the screen. So what is this actually going to look like? What is the crypto asset class going to look like as it continues to mature? So I went ahead and pulled up this site. This is macrotrends.net. And I've got a 100-year historical look. It's a price chart of gold. And take a, if you're not driving, please take a look at this. This is a 100-year chart of the price of gold in ounces. And I have to tell you, when I first saw this, I thought, what the hell am I looking at? Because in just glancing at it initially, the price of gold, it looks as volatile as XRP on a shorter time frame, doesn't it? Couldn't this have easily been a chart if it just wasn't labeled with anything? Couldn't you have just said that's the price of Bitcoin or XRP or any crypto? Wow. And so what's interesting, here's what I think ultimately is going to happen. It's going to feel essentially, as the market increases, there will be less of a frenzy around this technology. Way down the future, I don't know how long it's going to take, but there will be less of a frenzy, less excitement as the market matures, which is the same thing you saw with the boom and bust cycle of the internet stocks. So that's not surprising. I already know that's going to happen. I just don't, I'm not putting a time frame on it. And so as that happens, what you're going to see is it's going to feel like price stagnation, frankly. It's going to feel like you can go on for years and years and years, and you look at a chart, and it's like, the price of XRP, maybe it'll never move. This could be decades down the road. I'm just thinking really, really big picture, and I'm not putting a timestamp on it. I'm just saying when maturation happens, how's the asset class going to behave price-wise? And that's what I'm talking about. But XRP could be worth a fortune by then. And it's not financial advice. I don't have a financial background. I'm just talking about all sorts of things that I find interesting for fun, and I like putting content out on YouTube. So it's a fun hobby, all right? That's all I'm doing here. Don't buy or sell because of me. But I'm just saying, so eventually it's going to feel like there is indeed price stagnation. That is fully what I anticipate. But if you have a super long-term mindset, no. You know what's really happening? If you look at gold right here, what's happening is it just has much, much, much longer boom and bust cycles. Decades-long boom and bust cycles. Interesting, right? And so you might think, okay, so you've got gold that in and of itself, I mean, you can use it for stuff, but it's not a company. It's not producing something on its own, right? And that's kind of similar. It's not a perfect comparison. I understand gold is not the same as XRP or cryptocurrency, but it's kind of close. I'd rather compare cryptocurrency to gold than the stock market, for example. And so I could certainly see that there will still be, certainly volatility, but it's going to slow down dramatically. The other thought that I had when I was staring at this gold chart is, oh my God, gold's a scam. Look at this. See, it's as volatile as cryptocurrencies. And we know crypto, it's a complete scam, right? XRP and Bitcoin, all scams. So obviously gold must be as well. Because, for instance, if you take a look at right here, the height of gold price was in, I don't know if I can get it on this chart easily, but it was somewhere around $2,241 per ounce. Okay, that was in, I think I'm looking at this right, December of 1979, so about $2,200. And then if you fast forward to September 2001, that was the low point of gold. And that was right before the attacks, obviously. But so 2001, it was down to $383. So it went from $2,200 from 79 to $383 in February 2000 or April 2001, somewhere thereabout. So over a span of 22 years. So if something can go from $2,200 down to less than $400, then so the argument would be it's not a store of value and it's a scam, right? Because isn't this what we're being told is the case for cryptocurrencies? But that's why I keep saying these market cycles are just much longer for gold, and they're hyper quick for cryptocurrency, and that's why I see these very constant boom and bust cycles. There's price action to talk about every single day, and I should know. I make videos about that, not literally every day, but I've been doing more lately. Just it's interesting. There's a lot of activity, so a lot more boring to watch gold price, right, generally speaking. But from that bottom of less than $400 per ounce, it got to a high of $1,900, or okay, maybe a little over 2,000 in 2011 at some point. So it was. Obviously, it started ramping up more notably after the 2008 economic collapse, basically, and then it's gone down since then because, of course, gold's a scam, going from about $1,900, and then in what's this, June? Let's go back a little further. October 2015, about $1,200. So lost a tremendous amount of value over that time period. And so, what is crypto asset class going to look like? And this is why I wanted to pull this up. It's going to look something like this, right? Long term, if XRP has staying power, wouldn't you think that it would look something like this, because it's not a business. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And by the way, I pulled this up. I think that a lot of people don't know what that is, so I pulled up the actual. This is from Investopedia, the actual description right here. What does the Dow Jones Industrial Average measure? The Dow Jones Industrial Average is the second oldest and best-known stock market index. Owned by Dow Jones & Company, it measured the daily price movements of 30 large American companies on the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. It is widely viewed as a proxy for general market conditions and even the U.S. economy itself. So here we go. So let's look at the Dow Jones since, I think this starts in 1915, technically. That's first I can find is February of 1915, and you can see that the overall trend, think about it, this is over 100 years. Yes, it's volatile over long periods of time, but the overall trend clearly up. But let me flip back to the gold chart now just for comparison. That looks more wild, doesn't it? So what is supposed to be a store of value, if you look over the last 100 years, to me, much wackier price action. And so fundamentally gold and companies, those companies listed on the Dow Jones, fundamentally different. Because gold isn't, again, producing something on itself. So humans are investing in these things differently. That's why I go back to what is crypto going to look like? Because it's something that in and of itself there's utility to crypto. There can be, as long as applied properly by developers building on top of blockchains and ledgers. But in and of itself, a crypto just doesn't do something by itself like a business would. And so if I had to guess, and this is fun speculation, I would say that it's crypto over the long haul will ultimately behave more like gold, like this. If I just had to guess, that makes a lot more sense to me. And so it's going to take a long time to get to a point, because understand, gold had been around, how long has man known about gold? So it's well before this 100-year chart existed, so it was already a well-known factor that was going to have staying power. Crypto hasn't even gotten to that point yet. And so I know it. I know that crypto is here to stay because I understand the power of utility and that it actually matters in terms of long-term viability, but most of the world doesn't know that. Seriously, most of the world doesn't know that. And as a result, and again, don't buy or sell because of me. Don't get all excited. I don't want anybody to do that. I'm just talking here because it's a fun thing to critically think through. But because most people don't know that crypto is even out there or understand what XRP is, XRP is continually adopted and people want to diversify into other asset classes, it makes all the sense to me in the world that XRP could be worth substantially more, because I'm very confident that people are going to choose over time to invest in cryptocurrency as a store of value. They're already doing it with gold. I believe that cryptos will use that. Will it be XRP? Will it be Bitcoin? Will it be other ones? Technically, time will have to bear out to prove that, but I certainly suspect that those cryptocurrencies with actual utility will be confidently held because they have staying power, because businesses need them, and that makes a ton of sense to me. And so I am thrilled to be putting all the money that I'm willing to lose in case I'm wrong into this, and it's so fun to track on top of that. So that's the way that I'm looking at it. But yes, I think that eventually we're going to get to a point where there's price stagnation, but who knows when that's going to happen? Is that when XRP's at $10, $50, $100, $200, $500, $1,000, God forbid $10,000. I don't know. I don't know when there will be sufficient maturation of this asset class and people are, the frenzy dies down and there's less price activity. Generally speaking, there can still be runs even in gold. Don't get me wrong. That'll always have there'll always be that potential. It'll just be longer, and that's what I'm talking about with price stagnation. But so when's it going to happen? When is that type of excitement going to go away? I don't know, but the price, I don't know what it'll be. It'll be a lot higher than it is today, because people sure as hell have not figured out what is going on with this asset class right now. And so, again, happy to continue putting my precious U.S. dollars and into give it to the exchange and give me precious XRP. So that's the way that I'm looking at it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I haven't really heard anybody, engage in conversation about what is a matured asset class of crypto going to look like price-wise. And I also, again, I'm not putting a timestamp on it. It could be a decade from now, it could be 2 decades from now, but crypto is not going away, period. Even if I'm wrong about XRP, which I don't think I am even more sure that crypto is here to stay, period. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!